it is Amari, and as promised, I am back to talk to you guys about my journey on becoming a digital nomad. Yeah, a lot has happened specifically this last month or so, but to go and start from the beginning, I'm gonna tell you guys and give you guys some information on how I got here. I am an avid traveler. I've traveled all over the world. I've traveled to Egypt, Dubai, Jordan, Iceland, Paris, London, the Caribbeans, all over, just to name a few. And traveling is something that I love. It's something that I've always loved. It brings me joy, and it's something that I think I will always love to do. Mind you, I graduated in 2019 and shortly after COVID hit. So I only ever worked in an office for like literally 2 or 3 months. And during that time, I was commuting. For those who don't know, I live in Atlanta, Georgia. So you all know already how the traffic is here in Atlanta. So when COVID hit and we all went to working remote, it was great. It wasn't having to commute. Could, just bring my laptop wherever I wanted and do whatever I wanted to do, basically. But basically, after that time, I realized that I was bored. I was just in the house. And it was like I was always like waiting for the weekend to come to go out and do something. But then I'd be like very disappointed when the weekend would come and then I'd have no plans, because I'm like, okay, I just spent Monday through Friday in the house, and now I'm gonna spend Saturday through Sunday in the house because I haven't had like any interaction with anybody because I work remote all throughout the week. So as I was going through this time, I was like, okay, I don't want to go back into an office, so what can I do that's something different? So one of my coworkers had reached out to me, and she had told me about this position that she wasn't able to take. She was offered the position, but she couldn't take it because the job was 90% travel, and she has 3 kids at home, and they're all like elementary school age children. And the job was 90% travel, so it just wasn't something that she was going to be able to do. So she gave me the hiring manager's information, and I reached out to the hiring manager, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in this position. I love to travel. And the position was actually in supply chain, and I had no background in supply chain, but I was like, I'm willing to learn. And the hiring manager actually was really cool, a really cool guy. He gave me a chance. I got put on the team. And so for the last year, I have been traveling for work. And so as someone who loves traveling for fun and traveling for leisure, I thought that I was going to love traveling for work. And it was fun, like the first 6 months or so. And then it got really old really fast. And mind you, like I said, I stay in Atlanta, so my home base is Hartsfield-Jackson, the Atlanta airport. And for anybody who is based out of Atlanta or goes through Hartsfield-Jackson to travel, you know how much of a headache and how chaotic that airport is. So my job requires me to travel literally every week. So every Monday, I'm going to Hartsfield-Jackson, I'm going to the Atlanta airport, and every Friday, I'm back at the Atlanta airport to come home, and then I'm home on the weekend. So I'm home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, leave back out Monday. But anyways, so I've been doing that for like about a year now, traveling for work. And I was like, okay, I'm tired of that. I want to do something different. I know I liked working remotely, but I knew, again, I wasn't really trying to go back into an office. It's just not my thing, like just an office Monday through Friday, sitting in a cubicle or something. It's not fun, and there's so much more, and I know there's so much more out there than that can be done. So I remember I was having a conversation with my mom, and she kind of just like encouraged me to think outside the box. And I just feel like I've really outgrown Atlanta. I'm turning 27 next month, and I just feel like I'm just on this path to discover myself. I don't know, like All my friends, they just are on their own paths, and I see them and I'm happy for them and I'm proud of them. And it's my job to figure out what my path is. And I know I like to travel, so, and I know that I feel like the US has offered all that it has to offer for me right now. um every time I go out the country and travel to all these other countries, and I'm talking to the locals and the people there, and I was just telling me, how they just, a lot of these places that I travel to, they just live these very stress-free lives, and they don't work as hard as we do here in the United States. And they're in these like tropical places where you go to the beach, they grow their own food, you're like an hour flight away from like some amazing island or something like that. And it's just like, I don't feel like we get that here in the US. So I was just like, I'm tired of working so hard to still make a decent amount of money and live paycheck to paycheck. And I just was like, I'm ready to go, honestly. um so I started brainstorming, and I was looking like on TikTok and Facebook, and I was seeing a lot of things about people being digital nomads, and how a lot of it's like the new thing for like a lot of millennials and Gen Z is being a digital nomad. And a digital nomad, for anyone who doesn't know, is someone who works remotely and travels basically across the world, and they may stay in one country for 3 months, for 6 months, and then they're on to the next one. And so I saw that, and it really intrigued me, honestly. And I was like, I think I can see myself doing this. Um, so I started brainstorming, and I actually had been looking at where I wanted to go first on this digital nomad journey. And at first, my first choice was Panama, because my hairstylist, she does my hair, and she had been telling me how she's been wanting to move to Panama. And she was like, yeah, I've heard and seen many great things about Panama. I want to move there. You should look into it. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was looking at places, and it wasn't at the top of my list. But then as I kept like scrolling on TikTok and like YouTube and Facebook groups, Panama kept coming up. And specifically for me, I was looking for a place that is safe, specifically for like Black women, and somewhere where I could fit in, and it wouldn't be too much of like a culture shock, since this is my first time doing something like this. Like, yes, I have traveled all around the world, but I've never moved out the country. So I just wanted to go somewhere where like I knew I would, be able to find people that also kind of looked like me, and I'd be able to make friends and kind of establish that community while I'm away from home in the States. So Panama kept coming up as I was doing my research. So I'm like, okay, Panama might be the one. So I like booked a flight to Panama, but this was just for me to go check it out, not move yet. I wanted to go like check it out as a tourist and see if I could see myself living there. But as I kept doing my research, and like I started joining more and more Facebook groups, and as I'm like scrolling through their pages, I'm seeing that like it's a lot of like older retired people moving to Panama, because apparently Panama has a very good retirement plan for people, or retire, I think it's a retirement visa or something for people who want to move there from the US. So as I'm joining these like groups and stuff, everyone that's like going to like these meetups and these dinners and housewarmings and stuff, they're all like older people. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm 27. Like, I have a mixed age group of friends. Some of my friends are in their 30s, 20s, it doesn't matter. But these are like old married, like in their 50s. They're moving because their kids are in college, or their kids are grown, and they want to settle down in another country. And I was just like, I started realizing the more and more that I dug deeper, that I was like, okay, I think I might go to Panama and be bored, because I wasn't finding much. I saw like Panama City specifically, had like, you know, a little bit of nightlife. However, the more research that I was doing, I was finding out that Panama City is actually kind of expensive. They do take the US dollar, and you know, housing seems to be a little more affordable than it is here in the States. But like the price of food and, you know, everyday things, as far as the cost of living, seem to be either expensive or the same that it is here in the States. And I'm like, you know, for me personally, the whole point of this like moving abroad journey is to reap the benefits of not having to work as hard, so you know I can enjoy that lower cost of living. So as I kept doing my research, I was like, yeah, I don't think Panama is gonna be it for me. So I kept seeing a lot of people in the groups who kind of like were in the same position as me, where they were trying to figure out where they wanted to go, and they were like asking questions. And so I was seeing like a lot of older people telling the younger people, don't go to Panama, go to Colombia, you should go to Colombia. So I didn't know much about Colombia at the time. I've never been. This was honestly never really somewhere on my to-go list, but I kept seeing that come up a lot, was Colombia. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. So, you know, I started doing my research in Colombia. I'm looking at TikToks, I'm looking at expat groups, I'm looking at Black people who have moved there, Black women, Black men, and I started seeing that there's a huge expat community in Colombia, specifically Medellin. And I was just seeing that there was a nightlife, there was a lot of young people, there's a lot of people that looked like me. I was seeing that the cost of living was super cheap, you know, it's safe, and I was just honestly sold. I was sold once I really started digging deeper. You know, I was just messaging, you know, girls that I saw were living there, on TikTok, on Instagram, and specifically one girl I reached out to, and I saw that she had moved to Medellin like 2 or 3 years ago or so, and she was still there. So I was like, wow, okay, she must really like it, you know, she hasn't left yet. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey girl, I'm really interested in moving to Colombia. I think I'm gonna do it, but you know, I just kind of need that motivation, like, you know, for someone to like make me feel like, you know, this is the right thing. And so I messaged her and she was like super nice and she had nothing but great things to say about it. And I was like, okay, well, I just booked my flight and I'm going to be coming to check it out in the beginning of April. And you know, I was like, I'm gonna be there. And she was like, yeah, you should come. And she's like, when you come, let me know, I'll show you around. And I was like, okay. And fast forward to about a month later in April, I go to visit. So I went to Medellin first, and then I went to Cartagena. So when I got to Medellin, I stayed at this really nice Airbnb called Energy Living. And Energy Living is specifically for short-term rentals. And it's super nice. Like, I loved it. It's safe. As soon as you walk in, you're greeted by like the security card. It's a 24-hour security card that has their own desk. You have to show your passport, ID. They're really strict about visitors. Visitors have to show ID. I felt 100% safe there for sure. So as I'm like, you know, in Medellin, I'm loving it. Like, you know, it's nothing like fancy per se, but it's just nice and it's different and it's cheap and you get like so much more for your money. I'm like taking Ubers everywhere and the Ubers are like $1.50 literally. So I really liked Medellin. I fell in love with it. I met up with the girl that I had messaged on Instagram when I got there, and she took me and my mom to the Comuna 13 site. That was amazing, loved it. And then after we went out to brunch. Something that shocked me about Colombia though, this probably sounds really bad, but I was just shocked at how little English they speak. And I know that sounds bad, like I know you shouldn't expect like people in other countries to speak English, but like for me, I'm just used to like traveling abroad, like even in the Middle East, Caribbeans, like wherever, there's usually like a tour guide or someone that, you know, speaks English and, you know, makes it easier. But that was really hard to find in Colombia with someone who spoke English. And the girl that I was hanging out with, she did keep telling me, before you come here, work on your Spanish, work on your Spanish. And I was just like, okay, whatever, yeah. And once I got there, I realized I needed to work on my Spanish. And of course, I took Spanish in high school, so there's like keywords that are just embedded in my brain that I'll probably never forget. But like, no, you need to know basic level Spanish if you're gonna live in Colombia. Then after Medellin, we took a flight. It was like a 50-minute flight from Medellin to Cartagena. So while we were in Cartagena, I had fun. We went to the beaches, did like an island tour. We went to Palenque, which was like this very small village of you know, like this Afro-Latina and African community of where the freed slaves first had like created their village and preserved it once they got here, and everything is still intact and they still speak their language, and it was just like really amazing. I'll definitely make sure I show you guys later on all the content that I got from Palenque, because it was amazing. So yeah, I toured Medellin, toured Cartagena, and I was just like, I could definitely see myself living here in Colombia. Like, the people were nice. I didn't feel unsafe. The craziest things I've like ever heard, honestly, from people about like safety is that they snatch phones. So I was like cautious of like having my phone out, because I have seen a lot of people like in Facebook groups and stuff saying that they, you know, have gotten their phone stolen. But outside of like phones being stolen, I haven't seen anything like crazy as far as like, you know, like when I tell people I'm going to Colombia, their first thought is like narcos, and they think like it's just like this drug war and crime and people walking around with guns, and it's like, no, it's not like that at all. And you know, if you got outside the house and traveled and seen things for yourself, you would realize it's not like that. I feel like I blend in, especially being like a Black woman. Of course, once I start talking to people and they realize I don't speak Spanish, cover is blown. But I do, like, when I go back for good, I plan on, you know, taking some Spanish lessons so that I can make my life a little easier while I'm down there. But anyways, so after my trip in Medellin and Cartagena was over, it was time to come back home. And as I came back home, I was like, okay, I need to get serious about this. I have been wanted to be back in Colombia for good after my birthday, and my birthday is in May, and we're in April right now. So I was like, I need to get to work and get serious. So even though I have been applying to millions of jobs, I just went back to it as soon as I got back. So I kind of decided like, okay, maybe I should take the English teacher route, because I know that's a popular route that people take to go abroad, but the reason why I had kind of been holding off on that route was because like in the countries that I was looking at, specifically like Central America and South America, they don't pay very well. He calls me for an interview. So the interview is actually going really well. And, you know, he's telling me what they're looking for. He's telling me how they're a private school and they're wanting to hire some American teachers because, you know, they want to be able to, you know, increase the quality of their school and their learning. And I guess to do that is by hiring American teachers, like for schools in Colombia. Going through my experience, and he's like, okay, I think this would be great for you. And but then he's like, well, you know, you don't know any Spanish, do you? And I'm like, no, like I just know like basic like keywords, but I can't like speak it fluently, or like, you know, even like I don't really have like even elementary knowledge of Spanish yet. I plan on it, but not yet. And so he's like, yeah, you know, I think it's gonna be hard for you to communicate with the kids, because even though you're teaching English to the kids, they don't know any English at all, because they're like elementary school children, so they don't know any English at all, and it's gonna be very hard for you to, you know, communicate with them. And I guess, you know, it's important as a teacher to have control of your classroom, and it would be hard to do that if I don't know any Spanish. So I mean, he's like, well, you know, we have a virtual school too, and even our teachers who are in the school, we do everything on this digital platform. And you know, I think like it'd be really good if you were like our digital content creator, and you know, did the digital content for our K through 12th grade. And I was like, okay, yeah, like I have been like tapping into digital content for a while, just like with like TikTok and stuff. And like, you know, I've also like gone viral a couple of times on TikTok with just me posting hotels that I stay in. And like a lot of my friends and stuff tell me like I should be reaching out to other hotels to try to like promote their businesses, you know, like for an exchange of the videos that I create. But I was like, it's just something that I haven't like kind of taken seriously yet. Just because like I just kind of do like TikToks for fun or whatever. But I do know that like it's something that I do want to like try to take seriously later on this year. So anyways, he's like telling me more about this job, and I'm just like, it sounds like it was meant for me, like it was made for me, honestly. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm telling him I'm gonna take it. So he's telling me, you know, he's like telling me how I'm gonna need to get a work visa. He tells me that housing and accommodation are provided. So yeah, so then, okay, I don't think I told you guys this, but here's the catch. um, the private school, it's not in Medellin, it's not in Cartagena. The school is in this local town I've never heard of before. I can't even pronounce it. It's like, but it's a 40-minute flight from Medellin and like an hour flight from Cartagena. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be where I wanted to be. However, with like the flexibility that this job is giving me, I'm not having to pay for rent or worry about housing, and the pay is really well. I'm like, I can go on a flight and visit Medellin on the weekends, or visit Cartagena on the weekends, or visit anywhere from that for that matter. Like, you know, it just still felt like even though it wasn't in the city that I planned, um, it still was like meant for me, and I, you know, was supposed to take this job. So I like verbally accepted the position, and yeah, I'm moving to Colombia. So I'm going to be moving to Colombia, and that's where I'm going to be living and working. And yeah, I'm like scared, excited, nervous, but like I'm so ready, because this is honestly like, I feel like it's everything that I've been praying for. And I was so stressed out trying to figure out how I was going to make it happen, because like nothing was aligning with, you know, me trying to find like a remote job and stuff, and like the pay and everything. And then it all just like happened overnight. And obviously it wasn't every single thing that I wanted, but like the opportunity just seems too great to pass up. So basically what these next steps look like for me is I'm going to sell. I'd have to sell everything, because I want to live a very minimalistic lifestyle while I'm there on this journey in Colombia. And I don't want to like take a bunch of stuff I don't need. Like I plan on leaving here with 2 suitcases. And so, okay, the pay for the job, it's considered like upper class for Colombia, but I do plan on still having supplemental income coming in and different sources of income coming in US dollars, because I do still want to be able to save. And so honestly, I already have one business established, but I do want something else as well while I'm working in Colombia making pesos. So I'm actually in the process right now of starting another business, and this business is gonna be focused towards my, you know, my passion for traveling, and I have this huge experience in traveling. And I'm really like, this year I've just been really trying to focus on how I can make my passion my source of income. So I am in the process right now of establishing like my brand Bible and my launch. But I'm really excited about this business because I think it's gonna go very well. I can't wait till it launches. I can't wait to advertise it. But basically what it is I want to be I'm a licensed travel agent already, but I want to focus on group trips. And for me, I always struggle with finding friends who will actually make it out the group chat. And so when I say that is I love to travel. I'm quick to book a flight. I'm quick to book a vacation and leave. And I'm always inviting my friends on these trips with me. And they're always like, yeah, we're gonna go. We see you traveling. We want to go with you. Don't leave us out next time. So I'm always inviting my friends on these trips that I have planned. And they're always telling me like they're gonna send me the money, they're gonna book on time, they're gonna book their flight, and then like it never happens. It never happens. And I end up either going solo, or I will take my mom with me because my mom obviously likes to travel. So that's usually what it is. But it's like, you know, I'm at the age where like I love my mom to death, love my family to death, but like when I go out, I want to like party, I want to go to the clubs and bars, I want to like be on a yacht drinking, like, you know, and I want to experience those things with people my age, like me, who have the same interests as me, who love doing the same thing as me. And so I'm creating this business to focus on like group travel that is already established. Anybody can book, but it's really a community for people who, you know, can't ever find their friends or their tribe to book or go on that trip with them. So my hope is that people like me will book these trips that are already, you know, created and the itinerary is already done. All you have to do is just show up and find your tribe there. So I'm really excited about it because it's something that like I'm obviously really passionate about, and I think it's gonna do really well, I hope. So as I document this journey I'm taking with like this digital nomad leap and moving to Colombia, that's something else that I do plan on keeping you guys in the loop on, is this business and, you know, this brand launch that I will be having with these group trips. And in the meantime too, like I said, I'm also a travel agent as well. So any trips that are coming up or have any questions with like itineraries or anything, just reach out to me. I'd be glad to help. Like you guys know and can see, traveling is my passion. So I am full of knowledge and information. I'm always giving my friends tips on like the best travel credit cards to open, you know, best hotels to stay at, have plenty of like referrals for how to get discounts or so. I'm so excited for this journey. I'm so excited to move to Colombia. Everything just all happened so fast and it all just aligned how it was supposed to. And that's how I know that this was truly meant for me. And I'm so excited to see where this takes me. And I'm excited to film and create all this content and show you guys and take you guys on this journey with me. If there's any digital nomads in Colombia who have came across and are, you know, watching my video, or anyone who's interested in going to Colombia, let me know. I'd be more than happy to share the knowledge and to meet up. I'm always looking for friends abroad, and I can't wait to show you guys what else comes up and what else I have on this journey of mine. And thank you for watching, and I can't wait to give you guys another update. Bye.